Okay, so the card that's come up for you is you'll never influence the world trying to be like it.
You'll never influence the world trying to be like it. Yeah, what is your world? Everyone has different worlds within worlds. And I think there's a really nice lyric by dun, 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 many different suns. Da, 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 da. Oh my gosh, his name. It's not Eric Clapton. It's Mark Knopfler. And I think he talks about many different worlds and many different suns. And you can take it as SON or SUN, many different suns. Yeah, you never, I mean, it's about, I guess you controlling what you can control, right? Because, we can now know about news all over or even know what's going on in your neighborhood, what's going on your street, what's going on with your friends, your family so fast. Whereas, so I guess it's about being in your world, in your zone.
And you've created a world for yourself, the Triplet Tree, which is absolutely beautiful. Your website is stunning. And you bring these 3 offerings together. So you have dance, you have Thai massage and service. All of those 3 things speak to me. Do you want to talk to me about where the seed for the Triplet Tree came from?
Sure. So dance has always been a thread throughout my life. When you get the question when you do dance and training or, jobs or interviews, or this is my first podcast, by the way. So thanks for having me. Great.
Oh, you're welcome.
Yeah, really, really great. The road, what is it? The road less traveled.
Yeah, taking the road less traveled.
Yeah, that's a book. That's a book as well. Scott Peck. But yeah, so the Triplet Tree, TTT. So I had lots of different names that I was going through. And it wasn't really about the name. It was about what inspires me. And it's all these different limbs. And I suppose they all nourish each other. And it's through having dance being the thread. And then all of a sudden, Thai yoga massage came into my life because of dancing. And I needed a release. And as a dancer, I was doing a lot of training in North London through WAC Arts, Weekend Arts College, Haverstock Hill. And then I was also in a dance company as I was training, Myself UK Dance, run by Chloe Dean. And I was just also working at Borough Market, trying to, I was just spinning lots of plates, basically. And I was like entering this phase of like, you're young, you're training, you're dedicating, time for technique. So creativity kind of went on the side a little bit because you're just technique and you're trying to, but I suppose it didn't go fully on the side because I had improvisational classes, and that was through WAC Arts because it wasn't just dance, it was also drama and singing. So that was interesting in itself. Because as a singer, I've started this podcast with me humming, and I'm definitely more of a mover. But it was you got this moment. The cards made me do
That's it.
So
that's it.
Yeah, the TTT came through spinning lots of things, and then I ended up stumbling across massage, receiving a massage. And then they did this final twist on me, and you do this massage, traditional Thai yoga massage on the floor. It's not on a bed. So this twist cracked my back. Crack sounds horrible, but it released me. It was like a choreography, and I saw this as a dance between 2 people. It was sacred. It was deep listening was going on. I was releasing. I was my nervous system, living in London, your nervous system can be on high alert, right? So my nervous system was really, I just felt really connected. And then I just carried on learning. I managed to do training for pregnancy, for a sequence for many different ailments, and then learning more deep about the anatomy, and it just fed the dance, and then volunteering started happening a lot more, like through being of service to people in London to be able to survive living in London. My journey has been quite funny because I've lived with many different people to be able to survive with rent. So for instance, I've lived with a lady who had cancer, and I lived a year with her, making her fresh juice every morning. And I realized we had this exchange. So that helped me survive. That was in North London. And then I also lived with a family, and I helped run their business and did some au pair, like looking after the children. So I did so many exchanges, and I just found this, I didn't mean to, but I kept having this exchange. It wasn't like, I'll do this and you do this for me. It just naturally, being a triplet, that's something I do. I can share. And I have a lot of empathy. So I think.
Just comes naturally.
It does.
Yeah, it does. Comes naturally. But I think it has to be, it's nurtured by our environment, and, that feeling of being connected to self and then connected to others. And I love that idea of the exchange and not expecting anything back from it. And so, as you were saying, so much of it sort of fed into what you were doing choreographically with through dance and movement. It feels like you're in tune with yourself, and with that, because of that, you're in tune with others. I have a sister, so I'm not entirely sure if we were ever very good at sharing. She often stole my clothes, and I repaid her by stealing hers back.
I did that too. I did that. And I had to get a key and lock the door. Or if you're wearing my clothes, it's my clothes. Tell the people it's my clothes because I've got style. Yeah. Why did I tell my sister that? I cried. She stole my iPod, and I cried, and I ran out of the window, ran out and shouted out the window, "I'm gonna get you!" It wasn't always roses. Excuse me.
No, and it's funny because now with my little one, I mean, he's the only one, so he's sharing nothing. The sharing time with friends and family, and sharing's difficult, but sharing space with somebody, sharing connection, is so nourishing, actually. And the whole thing about the podcast is you've mentioned survival. This is a place to talk about stories of survival. And, living in London for as long as you did, living with lots of different people, moving around, developing your craft, it all comes together eventually.
That's it. Yeah. That's it. When you say it all comes together, I think it came together during COVID. And I know that's, yeah. COVID for many people was very hard. For me, it was liberating. And I know that's, the fear, I don't know, feel the fear, do it anyway. That's an obvious thing to say. But I won't go into COVID because that's what I won't go here for. But for me, at a time, it gave me recalibration. I ended up working at the top of a mountain in Bavaria because I needed to get away from the news or get away from WhatsApp. I just didn't want to be consumed in my brain by that. And you'll see on my website, on the bio, that's when I made Survival, which was the tiny cabin. I built a tiny cabin
Yeah.
Yeah, and that
On your own?
not on my own, because
Okay.
my brain doesn't work with measurements like that. I can work hard. Give me a power tool, and I will happily, drill. Sand I did by hand, and that taught me a lot of patience. I built it with my partner, my husband,
Oh.
and we used a lot of reusable materials. So my mum works in a garden centre, and we managed to salvage lots of sleepers, wooden sleepers that were being chucked in a skip. So, um, you know, at this point, we didn't have a van, or a car, so I was carrying wood on my shoulder.
Wow.
I really got to know the layout of B&Q. I mean, that was crazy
Mm.
during COVID, the way the car park was to get into B&Q. Like you're going on a fairground ride or something.
Yeah.
Just being told which way to walk was really hard for me, in shops. Like being a dancer, I was like, I'm not being told how to walk. Like, I found that really, it was really interesting times. But the survival cabin. Go ahead, Lucy.
No, I was, how long did it take you to build that? And then what was obviously the intention to begin with was to get away from the noise, but then that obviously then developed into something else and it became the base for your work.
It gave it gave place to retreat, to build a nest. I suppose it's a nest to fly from, because it you know I didn't buy land. It's not my own land. It's at the top of the garden of my mum, and she has an alleyway, and I saw it as like, hey, this is something beautiful for you. This is not long term. This is something to build during these times um, of unprecedented times. This is something where we can focus and harness and build. This is something for you as well, a gift. This is helping me from London. This is a little base, a little nest. I'm no longer there, but the cabin still stands strong because it was built very well. You know, some funny stories of getting glass and windows and routing and building our own windows, and it's everything. When you're in there, it's very rustic and everything tells a bit of a story. It's not straight. It's like it's almost like Charlie and the Chocolate Factory, like wonky. um and then I suppose going to Bavaria was because that's where my husband's from, and we wanted to go see his family during coronavirus. And then, you know, through doing a bit of hiking with them the previous years, then I thought, oh wow, it'd be really cool to work in a mountain hut one summer to learn the language. And that was purposely to learn a language. The year I did it, coronavirus, so everybody's wearing masks. So I'm trying to learn a language, and rah, 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 rah. And I was like, this is really hard, let alone a new language at an older age. I recently listened to a podcast that you're speaking about language learning. And I listened to that episode, and I was like, she's right. Like, everyone should have this option of equity to learn, to broaden. So, and then that's where I ended up doing the solo. So when you enter my website, there's a solo on a rock, and that's where I'm going with this. That job I saw on my first year, and then 2 years later, I was like, I kept thinking about this rock, and then we finally did it 2 years later, because I did 3 seasons at that hut of working in the summer, 21 to 22 to 23, I believe. Yeah.
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 And how different life must feel now from being in London, the busyness, the pace is so different to now where you are. And I don't know, like how do you kind of readjust to that?
COVID made you readjust because you went inwards and went quiet and went very, very slow. And then moving to Bavaria, where there's mountain views and, um, no tube station, no Bahnhof, no train line, just a beautiful church that rings every quarterly hour. No school, no shop, no shop. The nearest shop, I would have to cycle my bike to go to the next village shop. So it was a big, beautiful change. But nature, I've always been connected to nature, even in London. So if you're walking the streets and then you see a cracked pavement and then you see something coming from it, it's like, oh, that's cute.
The magic
of a pub, and then they've managed to do something quirky by walking by it, and then there's a bit of nature there. Or I really like, there's a few gardens in Southwark, and there's a beautiful one just lots of walking in London. From tube stations are not that far from each other, so whoever's listening, if you can walk more in London, please do, because it's magic and you catch a lot more and you're a lot slower. Like, I work at Rambert and I'm on the faculty there, Rambert or Rambert, however one would like to say it. And I would commute in, and then I would walk from Euston to Waterloo, and it was just easy. And I would, sometimes I would just enjoy walking along the Thames or just time myself. And I think my lowest was like 23 or 26 minutes I did it. And it was always nice to dip in and then dip out. But I think nature is the thing that grounds myself. It grounds many people. It helps you to just pause, just see the cycles, enjoy the wind. I don't know, take time to take time.
Do you travel back to London to do projects then? Are you kind of, here, there and everywhere, or are you predominantly based in Bavaria now?
Predominantly based in Bavaria. Then I have made a whirlwind of a change through having a baby. I've come to Northampton to have my baby and be in the UK for family, for integration purposes. It was extremely hard to integrate. So there's a few things that few goals that I want to do. That's why. So I'm in Northampton for a short foreseeable future. After just labouring and
when you say just labouring, for those people who are listening, we are talking like 4 weeks. Rosie had her baby a month ago, and here she is talking to me on the podcast in the wilderness.
It's what a journey.
Having a baby changed me beyond all recognition, and I don't know if you've heard of the term matrescence.
Yes, I have. Most recently.
So I went to De Montfort University to attend an early years movement session, but we had an incredible session that we kind of transported back to the womb, and we moved in the space with everybody there, and it was just so eye-opening. And I came away with this new term, matrescence. For those people who don't know, it's that kind of like the transition into motherhood and how long it can take. I mean, my little one's 5 and I still feel like I'm transitioning and transforming into something else. And so it brings new perspective, new energy, no energy.
That's great.
For lots of things.
New energy, no energy.
But it's so magical. And how was your experience as a dancer to experience that change?
It's a collaboration. It's the deepest collaboration we'll ever do. That's what I can say. It's phenomenal sharing the body. I mean, I think it made me understand my mother in a deeper level, because I was always like, well, I'm the triplet, blah, blah, that was always the thing to say, say something about yourself, which is interesting. And, when you go to groups and it was just like, I'm a triplet,
Yeah.
that was just the easiest thing to say. And I never thought about my mum really. And then going through the changes myself, I was like, how many placentas did you have? And she was like, 3 placentas, and they weighed this much. And I was like, how much did we weigh? And then, I just was thinking, well, she had 4 heartbeats going on. And, that's incredible. That's polyrhythms. That's polyrhythmic.
Yeah.
I doubt we were all harmonious, because we weren't outside of the womb. So inside the womb, I'm sure we were, some movement was going on. So, that's where I started dancing in the womb, or fighting in the womb, because,
Yeah.
it's for space. And then London, I suppose you're fighting for space sometimes. And then, getting that space enabled me to find this clarity. And I also have got to do a big, big, big shout out to Dancers Career Development, and also Nocturnal Designs. Check them out.
Yes.
Yeah.
Shout out to John.
Yes, John, wherever you are in the world.
Gosh.
Right?
Did you listen to his episode as well?
Yeah, I did. Checked it out.
Yeah. It's he's just incredible.
Also the offerings, which he does as well, and storytelling.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's it. I think creatives have many transferable skills, and the survival, that mentality of transferring what you know, and taking up a new layer or a new space. And that's what I knew through labor. I know my body, so this is how I envisioned birth. And then I went 8 centimeters at home, no pain relief, fully 10 centimeters.
Wow.
No pain relief, because I was like, I want to be present. Maybe I was too present, but no pain relief. And I was really proud of that.
That's incredible.
I think it's about, having that strength within the mind. But dance training, that can be vigorous in itself. Intense for sure.
Intense.
Am I right? When you trained, did you train at Laban?
I did. Yeah. So I did my degree was in theatre, performance and music. So I play the piano. Not so much now, but I'm waiting for my grand piano to come back to my house. We've just moved, and my piano, my baby grand's at my mum's house. So I'm so looking forward to getting that back. And then I moved to Bath. I've moved around a lot. Community dance, choreographing, was teaching. And then I decided that, to go to Laban, and I did the professional diploma, and John was on the community diploma course, and that's how we met. Yeah. So, oh gosh, being in that space. I mean, it's funny because I have never really considered myself a dancer. It's such a weird thing to say, but technically I wouldn't say that I'm particularly the strongest. But I enjoyed so much the choreography. Yeah, it's something I'm trying to get back to. The competition is fierce when you're training as a dancer, and to put your body through that it's the discipline. You talk about it on your website. The discipline that's needed, and that sticks with you, doesn't it, in everything that you do?
It does. And I realize I have a high expectation of myself, because 6 days after giving birth, I was like, why am I back to normal? I was like, and then I realized, in other cultures, or I've read so many books, and just take the time, you know, batch cook, take that time, but where I am now, it's quite compact. So I have enjoyed going for walks and things like that. But as you say, I think calling ourselves something is, you know, there's no title now, but like for me, mum is just fantastic to be a mum. Like mum, it beats for me lecturer, artist, movement
Everything.
director, dancer, anything. Mum, mum, oh, mum. Look, whatever, what it will be, it's that. But I think, again, just doing the action rather than thinking of the product or the outcome or the glitzy, what clothes you're going to wear. I think as long as you have a good time doing what you're doing, and like you say, you enjoy choreography. So again, whether it's the daydreaming or watching that person and going, wow, what they just did was really interesting. Can you do that 5 times? And then can you walk across the stage then? And if you're having fun, jigsaw piecing it together, then that's the main outcome. Like that's the main thing, the process. That's what I learned from Tyler 12, is it? Like The Creative Habit. I love that book.
Yeah.
That book helped me with my students. Like when I was teaching at Irie Dance Theatre, useful place to train in South London, African, Caribbean, predominant dance forms that they train in. I was doing the lock-in there and the funk styles, and I had to find the theory. I was like, I'm just a practical. That was my biggest fear, being a teacher. And then all of a sudden they reached out and I was like, oh, I'm going to have to do theory. I'm going to have to write reports. I'm going to have to do this. And again, you rise to it, or you train, or you speak to your peers, and you get there, you do it.
My mum's a dancer, my grandma is a dancer. And so, it's funny that you said, just do something. I've always wanted to create a piece of work with my grandma, my mum, me, and my little boy.
Yes.
Because my little boy loves dancing. He feels it.
Around the piano. On something like this, I don't know, around the piano, because you've got a chair, you can use the props. You can use that as props.
Exactly. Under the piano, on top of the piano, fingers, like just fingers dancing.
Yeah, or using the lid of the chair.
Yeah, because you talk about dance being like the universal language. See, music as well for me.
Yeah, I see body language before somebody speaks, and it's really quite simple, but complex, so complex too.
Very complex. Yeah, I teach dance and drama at primary school. So body language, energy, all of these sort of the nuances of somebody tell you so much. And I feel like we're losing a lot of that ability to read somebody, and to interpret really what's being said.
I will always remember this training that we did. We had a director called Ben Bennett, and he did in our class where he was a dramaturg, kind of like director, and he's now moved on to other things. But he did this activity with us where we stood face to face with your class, or your peer, your colleague. I had him because there wasn't enough in the class to pair up in pairs. So I remember I was like, oh gosh, I'm with the teacher. And we just had to look into each other's eyes for like 5 minutes, not saying a word, and just stare at each other. And I just remember picking up or seeing his eye blink, or when he didn't blink, or really looking into somebody's eyes deeply. And I think we do that with our newborns. I think we do that. And it's so intense. And I like to do it with animals as well. My mum's cats. Like, I love to create, honestly, like, yeah, weird. But, I think I'm not an animal whisperer, but, they understand. They do. Like the cat will run when I was coming back from the tiny cabin going down. The cat would run across my pathway and run back. And then he was always playing because I took the time to acknowledge somebody or acknowledge.
To spend time.
To spend time.
Yeah. And having eye contact with somebody, it can be intense.
It is intense. It's because what do you want to show? What are they picking up? What do they think? It doesn't really matter what they think because you just got to show up. You just, you are what you are. And I mean, what we do today will shape tomorrow, I suppose. So.
Absolutely. Have you watched the video with Marina Abramovich? She sits opposite people who come to the installation and just sits and looks at them. It's beautiful. She's in this beautiful long red dress, and her partner, who she was with for many, many years, turns up and sits down because they close their eyes as the new person comes and sits opposite. And then she opens her eyes and she sees him. And it's been years since they've seen each other. And it's every single time I watch that video, I cry because there's so much story there, and love and grief and pain, and it's beautiful. I'll put the link in the show notes if people want to watch it. But to have eye contact with somebody, it's so intimate.
And we are, unfortunately, we do lose that. We do.
Obviously, you're on maternity now, so projects, I should imagine, are on hold for the time being. Do you have any ideas of where you would like to venture in terms of projects that are coming up when you do go back to work, so to speak? Or are you very much enjoying the moment as it is now?
That's the thing. It's a lot of chaos, but like I'm ready. It's never been chronological. I've got this website and I purposely haven't put an address on it because massage I've done in the Indian Ocean when I did some volunteering there. Massage still came into play there. I've also done massage in London. I'm still building that as work, whereas dance has been work and volunteering is of service. But massage it's something that I'm developing and I'm learning from greats like Kira Velasquez, who's a phenomenal Thai yoga massage practitioner. Also Maya, who I learned from, Maya Vaughan. Also Catherine Poiser, she's Ralph Marzan. All of these people, I'm seeing their career and how they've gone into retreats or how they end up teaching. And I suppose I await helping people to trust their bodies in pregnancy, because you can often take the advice of all the health professionals, which is phenomenal support. It's phenomenal support. But at the end of my pregnancy, they said, you might perhaps have gestational diabetes. I knew I don't have diabetes from my diet. And I just knew it would be a very big baby. And he was 9 pounds to 4,195 grams for my first. And I was like, that's big. But I just think, from going from these charts, it's not done by, it's like quite open because it's male and female, there's none of that put into play on the centile. The father never gets weighed, and I just think I just want women to trust their bodies, to go with gravity a bit more. So where I see my projects going, I feel like there's some traveling in play here while the Baba's very young. I feel like the Middle East is calling.
Really?
Yeah, because on my way to Nepal, I stopped off at Oman, and I really, really enjoyed that for the short time that I was there. I thought people were incredibly humble, and yeah, I would be interested to be of service there and see if I could also maybe work in a school there. That
Yeah.
would be very interesting. But you can check out the Triplet Tree and you can reach out to me. Yeah.
Absolutely. I mean, for those people who are listening, all of the links to Rosie's work will be there. So, do go and check out the website. Go and have a look at what Rosie's offering, because I can tell that you're in for a treat. You're not going to be disappointed. There's connection here, and a knowing. I feel like there's a knowing with your work.
A lot of stuff I don't know really. You know, no, I will always give my full.
Mm.
When you're in something, you're in it.
What's your creative process like?
So depending where it's going to be going. So say if I'm working with some students and I know it's going to be for an end of year show, I will think about the piece of music sometimes. So
Mm.
I'll think about the samples within the music, and then it takes me on tangents of how I can get into the students for them to understand this piece of music, to get into their brain to really understand the samples and the amount of work that went into this piece of music. Then I suppose I will improvise myself at home for a long time, just know this track inside out, back to front. So I suppose it can vary. It can be from an idea. So one idea I had was students were on a vinyl player and I wanted this sense of playfulness. So they're on a vinyl player and they're spinning around, and we were playing with this, and then the music enhanced that. And it was like, that was really great fun. And then there's been other times where it's just been predominantly the music, and I've tried to embody that sound through embody it
Yeah.
within my body, but through having going to so many different workshops or teachers, it's been really inspiring to see how other choreographers
Yeah.
enter into this idea, into the vortex.
Yeah.
If you've got these generational dance that's going to be happening,
Yeah.
is going to be happening. How will you start this process?
I am inspired by story, other people's stories, and how our stories are interwoven. So I would, if I had the time, I would love to compose the music myself. I think it would be somehow getting us all together in the same room and just playing. You've talked a lot about play, but having a space where we can interact with each other. The relationship that my little boy has with my mum is very special, and I would love to be able to capture that. And the relationship that I have with my grandma is very special as well. She's 94. She's always practiced yoga. She's always danced.
Religiously, she does yoga still at 94.
Yeah. She's got beautiful posture. I interviewed her for the podcast, and she talks about the simple things in life. She's connected to her community. She does go to church, and she absolutely gives to others. She's very generous with her time, and she's just phenomenal. So to be able to kind of put to have all of these people together in one space would be really magical. I'm not sure we'd be able to do it around around my piano, but we'd have to kind of look at having a space maybe. And maybe I need to speak to John about maybe filming some bits and pieces, because I think there's opportunity there.
Absolutely.
But
Great
also
eye.
the idea of motherhood and dancing with other mums,
This
I
is
think.
interesting. Yeah, because I was thinking about watching the newborn so much, and I was watching his movements, and I was thinking this is really. I was thinking about a choreographic project, but just interpreting my baby, or just coming from the baby's perspective, because I've seen so many movements, or obviously our kinesphere changes as well. How we adopt new caring movements or instinctive movements, or um, yeah, our postures change. Our bodies are literally working miraculously to provide this milk if you are breastfeeding. Um, it's yeah, just I was also thinking like there's something here, and I'm really really inspired by John Frusciante from the Red Hot Chili Peppers. His philosophy, just listening to his music can make, or hearing an interview with him, his art is out of this world. If we want to talk about worlds at the beginning, bringing it back to this card, he inspires me a lot. My husband inspires me a lot. My mother inspires me. She's a hero. My father. Um, I don't have a telly. I haven't had a television since 2010, so I don't have a television. I have my own inner vision. So I'm if I have seen something, it's been through being at a friend's or my sister's or my mum's, where I've seen maybe the latest series, but I rarely watch any series. So if anybody wants to chat about television programs, I'm like,
Yeah, I know. Yeah. We don't watch
um,
TV very often
yeah,
either. I'd much prefer to be listening to music, tinkering around on my laptop, reading.
listening to a
Yeah.
whole album. That's
Yeah.
something special. Having a record player, that's something special. Maybe going through a director's catalogue, Wim Wenders, that's special. I don't know, little things like that. Having a DVD
Oh, yeah.
player, that's special.
I've just got rid of all my DVDs
oh,
and my
got it.
CDs. I know. Yeah. Like my grandma says, those simple things. We don't need a lot.
Definitely.
And I think there'll be people that listen to the podcast and will be doing so many different things. They'll be working a job. They'll have projects on the side, or they might have the luxury of making a living out of their art. But it's all valid. It's all valuable. It's wherever you are, whatever you're doing. It's your mess. It's your chaos. It's your wilderness. And there's so much to learn from each other, I think. This idea, one of my guests, Natalie, said, this is like the watering hole where we all just talk about how we're surviving.
I have a question also, because just as you said, wilderness, I just see the pink background in my head, and then the bear.
Yeah.
Why the bear? Why the mama bear? Why the bear? Right.
So it's a nod to my dad. My dad died 10 years coming up, and he was always the person I went to for that grounding, for wisdom. He always had a way of, whatever I was going through, he was always the person that would be able to make me laugh and just say the right thing at the right time. But he grew into that. It wasn't like that when I was growing up. So he grew into that role of, the sage, the wise old man. But we call ourselves the Kogi Bears because my surname Colgan, the Kogi Bears. So yeah, that little bear is. I always like the idea of him just watching over me and watching over my family, and he always used to say, find the fire in your belly and chase that.
Well, When did you start this, Lucy, the podcast then? Have you been doing it for long?
No, so the podcast was launched in April 2024. COVID, a little bit like you in some ways. COVID brought me back to myself. I was, the quietness, the stillness. I really, I needed it. I was made redundant. So we had Oscar, then I was made redundant. And the podcast launched the week of the anniversary that we lost our baby. The podcast was already sort of being developed. I'd met Sarah at a birthday party and we got chatting. And so the podcast is kind of like the baby that I didn't have, and I'm nurturing it and I'm loving it and I'm letting it breathe. So it's very special.
I was so surprised for you reaching out to me, again, through the Triplet Tree portal, because I'm just used to setting up with the techie side of things.
Yeah.
And I finally got a response and wrote back to you, and
yeah,
I just was like, wow, you were the first person. I was like, the website does work.
I love that.
Yeah, and I've had people reach out, and it's like, it's lovely. It's lovely to have things in a place, and I'm sure for yourself to go back onto your conversation, or to have things categorized, or to have your own little studio, and again to take a moment to have a cup of tea, have your blanket on, and have a conversation with somebody new or old or reoccurring. It's thank you for sharing that, because that's epic work over those years, and still growing Oscar. That's epic. Yeah.
I feel I never have any expectations really of how conversations are going to go. I'm always just grateful that somebody, wants to chat to me, here on the podcast.
I can go on, so I can talk down so many different holes, but it's never been so many different rabbit holes, but it's never been easy, because being a triplet and having an older sister and having to get where you want to be, not where you want to be, but I mean, it's just, it's never been fed to me straight away. And it's just, the struggle has been there, but it's made me who I am. And I think, whether anybody's going through something hard, or, don't give up. Don't, we're not microwaves. I know things are quite instant these days. Take the time to make that meal from scratch. Take your time to make that piece of choreography that you've been envisioning, and take that time, to play, I think. I'm, my website has a snippet, but I know the journey of the many jobs I've had to have to be able to be where I am, but wherever I've had a job, I've been dancing.
Yeah.
And that's what's kept me, because I've danced in a ramen shack. I've danced with the fishmonger at Borough Market. I've danced with Nepali girls doing folk dances, and then a blackout came, and then we managed to do the assembly piece, and we did a collaboration together. I've danced on the top of a mountain in La Reunion and did some ballet there, just because I saw a bar, a barrier, and I thought, let me do some ballet here. But I'm not a ballerina. I'm not a prima ballerina, but, I predominantly love funk styles, but I just saw the bar and I just thought, oh, let me do an arabesque or something like this. Let me hold my leg up. I won't be bound to a style, and that doesn't mean I'm I just find movement really enticing. So if you give me a pair of tap shoes, I will do a shuffle, ball change, or a riff or something, because it's ingrained in me. And then I like watching Gregory Hines or Sabian Glover, or Bunny. There's some great hoofers, and I just love dance, the Nicholas brothers, they inspire me. Phenomenal lockers, things cross over, and the more folk dances I've done, the more I see it in the new style of things. So as you say, stories cross over. I think you said that earlier. Dance styles, genres, if we want to box it, it crosses over, but I'm open to, doesn't mean I'm gonna buy or take everything and not culturally appropriate it. But I mean, I've had my journey and I've picked up things along the way, and so when you know something deep enough, you've learnt it. You've learnt it from the pioneer, or you've gone to the place and you felt the energy. So, I wouldn't bother too much about your skin color or what diversity is, because diversity is many things. It's not just racial. Personally.
Do you dance with your partner? Do you dance with your husband?
He plays music, and he plays music, and that inspires me a lot. I mean, we dance. He's not a dancer, but I do grab him and like try dance with him, but he'll mainly just like play music because that's where he feels comfortable dancing with his fingers. On the fretboard. But he's accompanied my dance classes before. Like, he's played the music. I've done a bit of community stuff as well, like with older ladies, and I've said, "Oh, can you do some Frank Sinatra, or can you play some flamenco for me?" And he's just come along and helped the community through playing. These ladies now see me with a baby, and they're like, "We miss your Get Fit classes, Rosie, and you helped me breathe." And that's what my doctor, because I would also do breathing exercises with them, and they were like, "My doctor was telling me about this." And I was like, "I'm glad they're telling you about breathing exercises as well as other things." And so he dances, but through music.
And do you still see your sisters?
Yeah, I see my sisters and my brother. So my older sister, we're all very close. They're based in Northampton. So I was the one that kind of went off a lot, and then they've all got families. So I was just the auntie to many, and now they're like, "This is crazy." you're now it's been 8 years since there's been a Baba in the family, so it's lovely. Yeah,
that's really
they were
special.
very young.
Yeah, it's really special. Well, listen, I'm gonna let you go, because I'm not sure when your Baba is going to be home, but it'll be nice for you to just have a moment to yourself, grab a cup of tea, do whatever you need to do just for a short space of time before you're back into the madness. I know how precious those moments are, so I don't want to take any more of your time up, but I hope your first experience of a podcast has been satisfactory.
Yes, darling, it's been lovely.
You take care. I'll speak to you soon.